So here we are, day 3 of LifeWay's curriculum in the wild, which is Matthew chapter 14, when Jesus walks on water. The main point for day 3 is Jesus proved he is God's Son. So my object lessons for this, I start with what is called the flower box. I basically are just showing something that's impossible. It's a magic trick. And you could do any other trick, something that's impossible, and referencing that only God can do it. Now I've got this bag and put mine in here. It's totally empty, right? You can't see anything. Well, it's dark, but the bag is empty, and yet it would be impossible for me to do something like this, wouldn't it? To pull something like this out of the box. Now, that's pretty wild, right? How did I have that in there? What would be really impossible is if I did it a second time. This empty box, pulling something like this out of it. Totally impossible. Well, twice, okay, maybe it's a trick. There's no way I could do it 3 times in a row. The bag is completely flat, but yet God can do impossible things, right? So impossible would be me pulling something else, a third item, out of this bag, this empty bag. Now that is where the trick ends. If you'd like to know how it's done, it's very similar to pop-up books, where things kind of can lay flat when they pop up, they're not as flat anymore. You can get this on Amazon or any magic shop or whatever. It's called the flower box trick, and I love it. I use it for a lot of object lessons and blows people's minds. I love it when the adults, they just can't believe what you just did. And so that is, you talk about the impossible stuff that God can do. And that means because Jesus proved he was God's Son, because he walked on water, he healed people, he raised someone from the dead, he himself came back from the dead. So God, Jesus, who is God, can do impossible things. That means we can trust him. So my additional point to Jesus proved he is God's Son is we can trust and believe that Jesus really is God's Son. And so I have another object lesson. I have a cup. You can tell where I went to lunch. I have a cup, and I ask the kids, who trusts me? Like, really, who trusts me? And you bring someone up, or you could have an adult volunteer do this, or however you want to do it. And they see you pour water in the cup, and then you ask, how much do you trust me? Like, do you trust me enough to take the water? You just saw me pour into this cup. Do you trust me enough to dump it over your head right now and not get wet? So I'm going to dump this water on your head, and I promise you will not get wet. And if you want to, you can ham it up and give them a trash bag or whatever. I usually don't, though. So I take the cup, and I flip it upside down. There's no water. And we can trust God just like that. That is trust. That's what believing in Jesus is. It's trusting, and it's not, and if you want to, you can take it a little bit deeper and go, it's not a blind faith. Many people believe things blindly, but we can trust in Jesus like we trust in our chairs. You don't ever think before you sit down in a chair that it's not going to hold you. Well, because Jesus proved he is God's Son, we can trust, and it's not a blind trust. So that's object lesson day 3. Hopefully that'll help you out.